hot. It's about 3:30. It's about 102 degrees right now in Atlanta. Man, it ain't no better nowhere else either. It's the same all the way in the South. Every state in the South is about the same thing, man. It's just hot, muggy. Just had an altercation with a lady at the shipping department at this place, Ken's Foods. They got mad at me because I showed up on time for my appointment. Like they don't want to do no work or something. Like, bro, I can't help it if y'all don't. This is my appointment time, man. First of all, I showed up. Actually, I showed up at like 12 o'clock. But I saw a line of trucks outside the gate parked. So I said, okay, well, maybe there ain't no on-site parking. So I just got in line behind the other trucks. Hold on. Okay, so to continue with the story, I showed up here at 12 noon. I had a scheduled appointment for 1600, which is 4 o'clock, right? So I didn't think it was a big deal. I got here early. I went and waited outside the gate with all the other drivers. Didn't bother to come to the security guard because I figured, you know, if I follow what everybody else is doing, then I can't be in that bad a shape. You know, if everybody else is parked on the side over there, more than likely I'm gonna have to go park. So I did that. Now, when I did that, I sat there for about an hour. Then I looked on my load assignment and I tried. What I usually do is I look up my load assignment, the address, get all the information I need, my pickup numbers, and write it down. I did that. They had a number on the load assignment that was for this place. I called that number as soon as I wrote down all my information, and I told the lady what I was trying to do. And the lady was like, okay, well, we don't have your load ready at this exact time, but if you want to come an hour before, you're more than welcome to come and check in at the guard shack at 3 o'clock. I said, okay, you said, so 3 o'clock. She said, yeah, 3 o'clock is fine. So 30 minutes ago, I had to go to the guard shack, right? I was like, okay, let me get up there, let me get in line and be ready. I get there. The guard shack lady, she just so nonchalantly told me, she asked me what's my appointment time. I said, it's 4 o'clock. And then she said, okay, we don't accept people that show up early. You have to go back outside and park in line with the other drivers. And I was like, you didn't even ask me my pickup number or anything. She's like, well, you have an appointment, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, you need to leave the property and go park where all the other trucks are. And so I said, okay. I literally said, okay. And I was frustrated. I was pretty mad about it, but I couldn't argue with her. I mean, first of all, she's in charge of making sure who comes on the property and who doesn't. She has that authority to tell me I have to leave or I'll call the cops. So I already knew that. In my head it could go that way. So I didn't want to make an argument, or I didn't even want to make a scene with her. So I got in my truck. I sat there for about 5 minutes, and then some told me, call that number, and see if the lady I talked to is the lady really in charge of the shipping department, because that number was directly to the shipping department. That I don't know whose number that lady at the guard shack had, but she called the number. I asked her, could you call and check and make sure they said that we had to show up exactly at our appointment time. She did that. And then when she said, okay, no, we don't accept any people early for their appointments, you have to leave. And that's when I said, okay, maybe a total of 5 minutes. The total exchange was 5 minutes. And then I got in my truck. I called that number to the shipping office. And the lady on the phone, I had the phone in my hand talking to her, and the security guard lady came out to my truck, and she was like, you need to leave. And I was like, oh, here's the lady that I was talking to earlier that told me I could show up at 3 o'clock. And she was like, yeah. I was like, can you talk to her? And I gave the phone to the security guard, and the security guard was like, so we're now accepting drivers before their appointment time? She had a real sassy attitude. We're now accepting drivers before their appointment time, like trying to persuade that lady like she didn't like she was gonna persuade her to tell me to go away. Like she had already told me 3 o'clock, and that's what I told her. I told the security guard, I said the lady in the shipping department said 3 o'clock. She's like, no, your appointment's at 4. You have to come back. I was like, okay. I didn't get mad. I was kind of frustrated, but I didn't get mad. I didn't show any reaction to her because I think she just wanted a reaction. And then when I handed her the phone with the lady in the actual shipping department, she kind of had a little moment where she had to just like check herself. I didn't even have to do nothing. I gave the security guard the phone, and and security guard she got you know what I mean, maybe she had some wrong information, but I didn't gloat about it. I didn't try to be sarcastic. I was just like, well, that's the lady I talked to who I was telling you I could show up early. She was like, all right, well, what's your number? What's your load number? And I was like, I gave her my load number. She was like, you know what to do? I was like, have you been here before? And I was like, yeah, I've been here before. And she's like, and I told her, I said, you got to go around, you got to come around, you got to park on the side, and then walk into the office. You got to check in with the office people. Then you can come, once they assign you a door, you go back in. I had to tell her all that. Then I just left the shipping office. The security guard called them and was like, he's coming up. Because when I came in the office, the lady at the front desk, she was on the phone with somebody. I didn't know who, but she was like, okay, yeah, this driver just showed up. He just pulled in, and let me check him in. As soon as she got off the phone, she went right in on me. She was like, what? Why were you down there giving my guard a hard time? And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I said, well, there's 2 sides to every story. So, I mean, you got to let me... She's like, no, there's actually 3 sides. There's your side, there's her side, and then there's the truth. And then I said, well, the truth is I'm here. So, and I wasn't going to let her attitude... This place, the morale is pretty bad. Like the DC in Louisville, the Kroger DC in Louisville, Ken's Foods in McDonough, Georgia has a pretty bad problem with morale. And you know, I already knew from experience that if you get on their level, if you stoop to their level, you're gonna mess yourself up. You know, I'm gonna mess myself up because I'm allowing them to make me act and say things, and I'm just here to do a job. I'm not here to get in an argument match. Like I said at the Kroger's DC, I'm not here for a pissing contest. I'm not here to compare who has the most power in the logistics chain. You know, we're both getting paid, so let's get this money together. But yeah, the lady at the shipping desk, she was an act. She didn't like me. She didn't even give me a chance. She just didn't like me. Had a very poor interaction with her. I didn't say too much. All I said was I talked to somebody and they told me I could show up an hour ahead of my schedule. And so if I took it personally, I probably would have told them they could take this load and shove it. You know, I could have told them, hey, I'll tell you what, I don't appreciate the way y'all are talking. I don't appreciate the way y'all are addressing the situation. I don't appreciate the unprofessionalism. But I have to be the bigger person in the situation like this because I represent my company. If I had my own company, I could have just turned around and left. I could have did that, but I couldn't do that because I'm an employee of the company I work for. So, and I have to always put a good representation. I have to maintain a high level of professionalism at all times. And I'm like an ambassador when I go places. You know, I have to carry myself in sort of a way that would ingratiate myself with the people that I'm dealing with. So who knows? Maybe I'll come back here and the interaction will be better. Maybe it's just the wrong day. It's Wednesday, June the 9th. Could be the day, could be the time of day. It's 4 o'clock, the hottest part of the day. But I haven't had a bad experience here. I've came here before, and the time before was not a bad experience. It was a very simple, easy process. But today was not an easy process. But I'm still here. I'm on the dock right now. I just backed into my dock. They gave me a dock when I went in the shipping office after she tongue lashed me a little bit. And I knew what it was. It just you deal with the bull crap. You can't have everything go all good all the time. So, but yeah, Ken's Foods, they have all the salad dressings and everything. All the good salad dressing. I remember even last time I asked the lady in the shipping office, I was joking around, said, "Hey, if y'all don't mind, can I get a sample of that blue cheese?" Because she was telling me everybody loves their dressing, and I had some of their dressing on the truck before. I bought a bottle of the Ken's ranch, and that's some good stuff. It's like a really, really good ranch. It's like a luxury style ranch dressing. But yeah, McDonough, Georgia, Ken's Food, Wednesday, June 9th, 2025.